Oops.
There we go.
We need another camera angle.
Right
we need
there.
someone to fill the.
Do you want me to
We need a cameraman.
Yeah.
A producer.
Yep. We need a guy who has a wealthy grandmother that's going nowhere in life, and his grandmother's just like, just get out of the house and do something, and they can come work with us.
Yep.
Okay, let's get this thing started.
I'm slumpy.
Welcome to the Lift Heavy Run Long podcast, episode number 54 with Cindy Caudy. You can find us at www.liftheavyrunlong.com, on Twitter and Instagram at liftrunlong. Feel free to email me directly at the address wilson@liftheavyrunlong.com. Also, please go to our YouTube channel and subscribe there, and most definitely leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. If you do that, we will be sure to read it on the podcast, which is so exciting for me to read, but not as exciting as it is to look at my computer and find out that there's a new review.
Do you have any to read today?
I do. Shall I read them now, or should I continue introducing? Okay, I'm going to do that. We're going to mix things up a little bit. I'm so excited about this. We got 2 of them. All right, 2 new reviews. One of them is from my man, Matt Birchfield. Great podcast, 5 stars. This is the only fitness podcast that I listen to. The recordings are the perfect length and are always informative. The hosts are real people who do extraordinary things. Keep up the good work, y'all. Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Yep, thank you.
And another guy, Thirsty Runner. It wouldn't be a podcast if I don't say the name Brian Swanson.
That's right.
He demands a nickel every time I use his name.
Did he write insults and give us a 2-star rating?
No, he did well. He did well. You know, he was threatening to come over to my house and like beat my ass like for the longest time. And now he's kind of off of that. And I think that he's making his amends by giving us a 5-star review. He says, such a fun group, always laugh and usually learn something. This show always makes me laugh. The only podcast I make time to listen to every week, regardless of what else I have going on.
Wow. Thanks, Brian.
So thanks, Brian. So I'm going to get to the introductions, my favorite part. My beautiful wife sitting next to me, Dr. Amanda Kimsey Horrell, also known as Jacked and Tan. How are you?
Hello, everybody. I'm doing well. How are you?
We've got some Jacked and Tan going on up in here. We got some Jacked and Tan coming at you.
Jacked and Tan.
And we're going to skip over the Jackedest and Tandest right here, our guest, and jump over to the Reverend, the OG, Von Rawls.
Someone called me the Reverend the other day. It's like starting to catch on.
Isn't that great?
I don't know if that's great or not.
It is. And then people are going to, you can make up a new story of why I call you the Reverend, because there's really not one.
Yeah. I'll make up a story.
Where did it come from?
I just kind of
He just made it up.
Threw it in there.
Yeah.
I go through this. I usually go through this long spill about how fantastically beautiful and wonderful and intelligent Amanda is. And then when I got to Vaughn, I was kind of out of, you know, what's
Anything nice to say?
Anything nice. All my niceness had been spent up.
Yeah.
And so I went for nicknames.
I think it was Justin Hartledge who sent me an email the other day and talking about something completely unrelated. And at the end of the email he wrote, he said, "Thanks, Rev." I was like, oh,
he's a
like
dedicated
listening to the
listener.
show.
Yeah, he's a dedicated
Justin
listener.
Hartledge is legit listener, legit fan. And then we have, in between Amanda and Vaughn, we have Cindy Caudy. And Cindy is a bona fide nutrition coach, a bodybuilding coach and competitor, and fitness instructor.
Correct.
Is that accurate?
Pretty accurate, yes.
You wear a lot of hats, unique
I
hats.
do.
It gets weird when you get into like nutrition and calling yourself a nutritionist and all that kind of stuff, doesn't it? Like you have to do certain things. Like, I don't know. You have to be careful about what you say.
Right. I am not a dietitian because I don't have a degree in it, but I am a nutritionist.
I know that, like, at the gym in Mississippi, we're not supposed to offer any kind of nutrition advice at all. Like,
Correct.
you can't even say, we'll give you nutrition advice, because that's not legal.
You're not specifically supposed to write meal plans and all of that.
Right.
You can do like example menus and give suggestions and stuff like that. Unless you're a registered dietitian, you're not supposed to write specific meal plans and say you've got to eat this.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh.
So how would you describe what you do?
Like in a nutshell.
Yeah, you seem to do a lot of different things and work with a lot of different people, from the really out of shape to getting them in shape, the really unhealthy to getting them healthy, to also the elite people who
Right. Yeah. So like what we do in our everyday life, we're personal trainers. We own a personal training studio, my husband and I, Chris Caudy. But we specialize in competition prep. So we get you ready for bodybuilding competitions. We also promote a bodybuilding competition ourselves, Battle on the Bluff, which has already been this year. It was the 1st of May. So that's what we do in a nutshell. And yeah, like you said, we work, with everybody from the elite athlete to the overweight, out of shape individual, all ages, from children to the 75-year-old.
And always welcoming clients. Are you always looking for new clients?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, right now we are. We're not completely full. Yeah.
Do you have a facility, or do you?
We have our own personal training studio.
What's it called?
Next Level Training.
Okay. Where is that at?
And out of our house.
Okay.
It's about an 800 square foot facility attached to the back of our house.
Oh, nice. That's good.
So
and it's really sweet. Like you walk in,
it's really cool.
You walk in here and you have a shop, and you walk into some oddness, and then you come into a pretty sweet studio. You go over there and you walk into a really nice house, and then you open up to this really fat gym.
Nice.
It's a great
thing.
So
basically
That's awesome.
We roll out of bed and go to work every day. It's
nice.
Sweet.
And you just work with people one-on-one, or?
We do some like buddy training sessions, but we don't do any I know y'all are used to CrossFit and going to like big group. We don't do any big group training sessions. Yeah, not right now.
Right now you're in the season of... Are there seasons to bodybuilding?
Pretty much. There used to be it would go from maybe March to October, but it's pretty much year round now. They start up in February and go to about the end of November. So there's really no off season anymore. But yeah, we're in peak season right now. There's pretty much a show every single weekend, if not several shows every single weekend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And am I saying that right? Is it bodybuilding competitions?
Yes. Yeah.
I would imagine that I've been really fascinated with that because of Amanda Drogmiller and her getting into that, and watching her progress, which has been really fast and really awesome.
Yeah.
And everything that goes with it. It's not just, in my head, I would have thought you just lift a bunch of weights and get really ripped up.
No, the lifting's the fun part. Yeah. The dieting, and she'll tell you this, the dieting's the hard part. Anybody can go into a gym and lift weights for an hour. The dieting is the 24/7 part of it that, people don't see. That's going to make or break the competitor.
And then you had her doing quite a bit of low intensity training, walking. Mm-hmm. I guess that has a lot to do with getting ripped up.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has to do different levels of cardio, just based on where they are body fat percentage wise. And there towards the end, I know in CrossFit y'all do a lot of quick burst, a lot of high intensity stuff, which is important. But when you're trying to burn that last little bit of fat, when you're doing the quick burst, you're going into like an anaerobic threshold. So you're burning up the glycogen in your muscles. That's not really primed for burning fat. If you're doing it for like 4 or 5 minutes, yeah. But if you're going to do a cardio session for 30 minutes, at some point you're going to start burning through your muscle, which is not ideal, especially for a bodybuilding competition. You want to maintain as much muscle mass as you can. So that's where the low intensity cardio is going to come in, and that's the best for burning the fat. So yeah, I had her doing more walking, maybe riding the bike, doing the rower at a low intensity for an extended period of time.
What does a walking workout look like? Like, do you just say,
Just
go for
go
a walk
walk.
for 30
Yeah.
minutes?
I meet her at the park and we walk 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I've been helping Amanda out. Been helping her walk.
Go for
Probably-
a leisurely stroll.
Probably really therapeutic.
I enjoy it. It's really fun.
Yeah.
Knowing I'm burning fat walking, talking to Amanda.
Basically, I tell people just go and do something stress-free. Go and just free your mind.
Let me tell you something you do really well. You do not bash CrossFit. For someone who's a personal trainer, it would probably be really easy to be like,
Why would I bash CrossFit?
because people bash CrossFit. Because that's what you do. If you don't CrossFit, you bash CrossFit. I did.
I think that's a sign of a good coach. Well, you won't find like a high level coach that bashes anything, really. Because what other people do is just what they do. You gotta let other people do their thing, and you got to do what you do. You know what I mean? And so if you do have a coach that's like running around going, "Oh, screw those guys," or "Screw that guy," you don't want to do that. That's kind of like a red flag.
I have no reason to bash CrossFit. I mean, it helps a lot of people. I support it just as much as I support anything.
Well, I guess I'm just such a hater by nature. Prior to like 5 years ago, I bashed everything that I didn't do. Like, I bashed everything.
Like you bashed the diet plan that I gave you.
Yeah, sure.
He doesn't. Yeah, don't tell him what to do ever.
I tried.
I know. I figured that out.
I paid my money.
Actually,
Bought my ticket.
Actually, tell him the opposite of what you want him to do.
I bought the subscription. I didn't know you had to follow it. Nobody said anything about actually doing it. I just thought I had to possess it.
It's all about the pursuit.
If you buy this nutritional information, then it will come.
It will magically happen.
I slept with it in my arms every night.
And then the weight would just come off.
Hey, you said something.
He got so mad because the first check-in, he was like, "I've gained weight. Damn it, this doesn't work." And he put on all this muscle.
It has to
put
be
on all
instant.
this muscle.
Instant.
He didn't want to gain muscle.
Hey, you mentioned something earlier that I heard you say that I didn't know, and you said something. Amanda asked you about physique, and you said something about bodybuilding. So I was kind of curious what the difference is in those two.
Are they different categories?
Yeah.
So
what does that mean?
for females, there's 4 different classes you can compete in. You have bikini, figure, physique, and women's bodybuilding.
Okay.
So for her, since she's so muscular, I would advise, like if she were to come to me and say, "Hey, Cindy, I'm interested in competing, assess my body and tell me what division I need to do," I would tell her, since she's so muscular, she would naturally fall into physique.
Okay.
And with those 4 classes, bikini's the least muscular, going up the categories. Figure is which is what I do, is a little bit more muscular. Physique, a little bit more muscular, and then obviously women's bodybuilding is very muscular. And then for guys, you have men's physique, which are the board shorts, and then you have classic physique now, which just came out last year, and they wear like the little shorty shorts, and then men's bodybuilding.
Okay. Interesting.
So classic, they brought back classic physique because the men's bodybuilding were getting so enormously huge, like cartoon character looking, that they wanted to bring back the old school kind of bodybuilder look, like Frank Zane, Arnold. So that's what the classic physique look is.
Huh.
Just as a general rule of thumb, when you're saying something about Amanda, we're going to lump me in there. So like we have all this muscle definition, and like I ask people to refer to me as doctor because she has her doctorate. Like as a couple, I inherit those compliments.
Mm-hmm. So you want to be physique too?
Well, yeah, I just want you to refer to me as being
he
muscular.
is physique. As soon as she is, he is.
Okay. Right, because
so
I'm part of her
y'all
life.
will be competing in physique
So
together.
That's right.
So if she does a bodybuilding competition, that means you have to as
I'm
well.
just not going to enter. But when she does well, then
He
we
has
did
the
well.
experience.
So you're going to be a dropout.
Yeah. I wouldn't dare no, I would not dare even walk into the vicinity of one of those things.
Why not?
For
So you're going to
to
be a hater of a bodybuilding.
No, I'm not. And I don't hate, but I don't hate anything now. This is prior to like me being a different person. And before that, I didn't CrossFit. I didn't do anything. I just laid on my ass and drank vodka and took Percocet. So I didn't hate Percocet, vodka, cocaine, or any of that. But anything like happiness and CrossFit and health was just drove me up a wall. So just people in general I hated. And now I don't do that. And I'm really maybe oversensitive to other people who hate different things. And so I think it's easy to hate CrossFit or to hate any,
anything that anybody excels at.
Yes, correct. Anything that I'm not good at, I generally would just say it's stupid.
Yeah.
And now I have such an appreciation for people doing great things. And I think the bodybuilding is really interesting. And what really appeals to me about it is I would imagine there's so much like personal stuff that people are overcoming to get to that level.
A lot of people have amazing stories that got them into bodybuilding, or that they survived through bodybuilding, or this is what keeps them going, whether it's some kind of disease process, or we had a guest poser this year that was he's a paraplegic, and that's what got him into bodybuilding. That's what saved his life, basically. So things like that, I think that's just amazing. Which I'm sure there's all kinds of stories of people with CrossFit, that's what saved their life or got them healthy or kept them from dying or whatever else.
Well, I think that the courage that it would take to do something like that there's probably people who getting up there and performing in the bodybuilding competition has very little to do with bodybuilding and everything to do with saying, here I am, I'm this independent person, I'm willing to face my fears and get up here and be strong, which is totally kick-ass.
Yeah. Well, it basically saved my life, got me back into health.
Well, tell me how that worked.
Well, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease in 2011, and continued to compete through that. Doctors didn't tell me not to compete at that point. They just basically told me it was going to be difficult to do. And then in 2014, I developed a stricture and obstruction and had emergency surgery. And they did tell me then that I'd probably never compete again. And 7.5 months later, I won overall figure at Southern Classic.
Nice.
Wow.
So yeah. And
so you don't like being told what to do either?
No. No. It's basically if someone tells me I can't do something, that makes me want to work that much harder and do it. Same thing, a year later, I had 2 knee surgeries on my knee. And the surgeon basically told me, you need to hang up your bodybuilding. Your bodybuilding days are over. Less than a year later, I stepped on the national stage. So, people who give me the excuse that I can't do this because of this, or I have all these obstacles in my way, I just want to say bullshit. If you
don't want to say it, you say bullshit.
I'm too nice to say bullshit to them. But in a roundabout way, and that's why I started a lot of my Champion Charms jewelry and my website, and a lot of the stuff that I do is a roundabout way of saying you can do anything that you want to do if you put your heart and mind to it. Because I've done it. If I can do it, you can do it.
What website is that?
CindyCaudy.com.
Well, go back before 2011. Have you always been this way?
I've always been driven.
Where'd you get started in this this whole thing?
I guess I can attribute all this to my dad. Mm-hmm. My dad was always pushing my sister and myself to, be our best, and not in like a bad sort of way or a negative, like you've got to do this. He was strict on us, but always wanted us to get straight A's in school, and always wanted us to be, the best at everything we did, whether it be sports or whatever. I was captain of the basketball team. I was valedictorian. I was always excelling at everything I did. So I've always been driven. I've always had that internal drive. And I think it just got even more ignited when I was diagnosed with Crohn's,
Damn, valedictorian.
Yeah.
That's I'm really high up there.
I'm pretty smart.
So did you play sports besides basketball? Did you play other sports? Did you run track?
I ran track. I played around with volleyball, so I was never really good at that. But yeah, basketball and track were my main sports.
Because I knew you said you'd run a half marathon.
I got into running. I attempted to run, and I was actually pretty good at it.
Yeah, you had really good time.
Yeah, my last half marathon, I PR'd at 1:45.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
awesome.
that was pretty good.
You just said it's not for me.
Well, my knees kind of
Yeah.
gave out. First knee surgery, and then I was pretty much done. Actually, I had surgeries on both my knees, and I was.
Did you enjoy running?
I did. I mean, I did at the time, and then my last half marathon when my knees were killing me, I was every step of the way. I was like, I hate this. Why am I doing this? But I got my PR, and I was pretty happy about that, and it kind of negated all the pain that I was in, and I was like, yes, that was worth it.
That usually is how it goes.
Yeah.
And then you say you went to school here in Memphis?
I went to high school at SBC, went to undergrad at Ole Miss, and then physical therapy school at UT Health Science Center in Memphis.
Okay. SBC is in Mississippi, or
It is.
that?
Yeah, it's
technically
now,
it's in South Haven, I think.
Yeah, now it's North Point Christian.
And y'all know a lot of the same people.
Well, that's where I went to high school as well.
Yeah.
And
So
you graduated.
He's
I'm
a
an
little
old
older
man.
than me.
I graduated in 1993. from
I
high
graduated
school.
in 98.
I graduated in 95, but nobody asked me.
Where did you go to school?
From Germantown.
Okay.
They were raising hell over there. We were nice little Christian kids.
That's right.
We weren't rebellious at all.
Oh, I went to a Christian school too. So are all the Christians over here.
That's why I'm sitting over here.
Yeah, that's why you're over there, heathen.
You're the hater, hellion over there.
I was valedictorian of Germantown.
I tell the story all the time. I had to go to Germantown High School for summer school one year because I was a slacker student. And coming from SBEC, from the Christian school to Germantown, my jaw hit the floor when I walked in. I mean, these kids are calling the teacher bitch. Like, the guy's going out on the break smoking weed. Like, what's going on here, man? This is like...
Like, am I in the Twilight Zone?
Yeah, you can't do that. One dude like came to school drunk and passed out on the floor. Like, I'm like, man, this
Was that Wilson?
It might have been.
Yeah, Germantown was wild. I guess I didn't know it was wild while I was there. But they've tightened down on just schools in general. I mean, I wouldn't have lasted a week without getting thrown out of the whole school system. You know, the way that they get on to you about stuff. Like, you can't get away with anything now.
Well, people are more sensitive now than they were back then.
Yeah, and I guess that's for the best. But I don't know. But y'all have, like, family and stuff in common. Y'all too.
Not family, but friends.
Friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guess we're not going to get into
we might have to edit that out, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, don't do that.
I don't want to have to do that.
I'll have to use
Or
the
I don't
restroom
want
or
to.
something.
I don't want to say something incriminating, and you put it in, and then someone else sees it, and I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I told them to edit that out.
So as far as your business goes, so you have your website and you have your jewelry and you have a clothing line, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, that's all kind of incorporated all together. So the website, the jewelry, and the clothing are on the website. It's all kind of under CindyCaudy.com, and then the jewelry itself is called Champion Charms, which I'm wearing a little bit of it today. I've got the
I really like that.
bracelets and then the necklace on.
Okay.
So I've got mostly female jewelry, but there's some male jewelry too.
Okay, cool.
You're busy all the time, aren't you?
Yes.
What's your typical day
Nonstop.
like?
I start at 5, get up, do my own cardio. Then I start training clients at 8, and I usually go till about noon. Do a little bit of work on like diet plans and stuff like that. Then I go train at the gym around 1:30 or 2. Then come back, start training clients again at 4, and then I usually go to about 7:30 or 8 at night.
And then people like me all the while are texting her questions to whether they can eat things that they know the answer to, and then when she gives the answer to them, they're mad at her.
Does that happen a lot?
What? About people texting me silly
Yeah.
questions? All the time.
I bet you get some
Nonstop.
ridiculous
Can I just have one?
questions.
Can I just get a donut?
Yeah, I mean, it's
If I eat a donut,
Y'all
should
don't
I
even-
have 6?
most bizarre questions. People think I'm Google. Google sent
And then when you say no, then it's like, God.
Well, I'm just gonna go
Like it's
find
your
another.
bad. Yeah, I need a
I'm
new
just gonna-
nutritionist.
I'm just gonna go find another.
She's so
coach.
mean.
Yep. I have a lot of patience.
You have to. How many texts you think you get a day from clients? 100? You have to get 100
I
a
mean,
day.
it varies. Some days it can be radio silent, and then other days maybe 50.
And I'm sure that you're used for so much more than just your information. Like if somebody's coming to you for like a life-changing experience like that, they're kind of clinging to you for hope.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't mind it, because when I get these girls, a lot of them cling to me like their mother, and a lot of this is mental as much as it is physical. So, yeah, I mean, I become kind of like their psychologist to an extent, which I was a psychology major, so that kind of helps. So, yeah, I get a lot of personal questions, and that's fine, but it does get kind of wearing on me sometimes too. But that's, I deal with it.
Have you ever made someone get so hungry that they killed somebody?
No. What kind of question is that?
Because I felt like I was going to kill somebody. I've gotten so hungry before.
You've eaten, on her plan, you eat 4 to 5 times a day. How can you be
No,
hungry?
but I do get the question of, I'm starving, what do I do?
Kill someone.
I'm sorry.
That's
so
part
of diet. I mean, that comes.
I'm so mad that maybe not so hungry, but you just, you don't allow like them to eat the things that make people happy.
I can see it. I can see in Wilson's brain how he's trying to fit himself into your world, and it's just not going to work. And he just can't.
Well,
it does
Wilson,
not. It's like does
there
not
is
compute.
this thing called dieting, and when you diet, you don't get to eat the things that make you happy. Which is why you are not successful at it.
Or you can eat things that make you happy, but you just don't get to do that every day.
Right.
You don't log them. Right. You eat the things that make you happy, you don't log them. And then when you go back to Cindy's house and you get on the scale and you gain 20 pounds, then you're like, damn it, that turkey is not working right.
That's not on my log, so it didn't happen, so I don't know why I gained 20 pounds.
Don't you
right,
know that
maybe
happens?
I just don't react well to turkey. Maybe maybe ground turkey just doesn't react well.
I do honestly get those people too.
I'm sure you do, and they're like, they don't tell you about the 3 pizzas they ate.
I promise I've been following my diet. Promise I didn't.
You have to get that all the time. I mean, I fall into that. I mean, I do that. Who doesn't do that?
I think I was born yesterday.
I mean, it's like everybody that goes to the universal alcoholic answer to how many drinks do you have a day at the doctor, and like 3. And you believe I mean, 3's good. Well, your liver just fell out here on the floor. I don't know. I guess I got a bad genetics.
I'm sure you see a lot of this, but because I've seen a lot of it where people, when you tell people to write down what they ate,
I'm not writing
you
down.
look at it and it's like, you ate a pack of crackers like 3 nights this week, and they're like, well, I guess I did. Like I didn't realize that was bad. Like, how did you not realize that? Like, how do you not realize that your breakfast of Fruity Pebbles that you're eating 3 bowls of every morning is ruining everything for you? Like, can we just stop?
Because you've never logged it before. And then when you start logging it and you know what's in it, then it's like, I'm not going to log that. Are you kidding me? My phone will break.
You don't. For me, if I think about it before I log it, or it makes me not eat it half the time, or either I divvy the portion out smaller or whatever because I know I've got to make it fit into my macros, or I've screwed myself for the day, and it makes me really mad when at the end of the day when I look at my macros and I've gone over on something, especially my fat. It's really frustrating.
I think
he's not comprehending what you're saying.
No, he's not. He's just. How important do you feel do you make everybody log food? Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, she wants us to.
Do you use like MyFitnessPal, or do you have
either that or Lose It? I like Lose It better.
I like Lose It.
Okay.
Yeah, MyFitnessPal, their databases are not accurate whatsoever.
Really?
So, yeah, and Lose It. You got to be careful with the databases on the apps because they're not policed by anybody that puts anything in is in that database. So you could go in there and put that a 4-ounce chicken breast has 100 grams of protein in it. And someone could go in there not knowing anything about it and enter that and think that they've met all their protein needs for the day.
Yeah.
So you've got to be careful using the databases. So I tell everybody that it's best to just create your own food list and not use the database.
Yeah.
And people don't know how to use it, and sometimes what you bring up doesn't have anything listed.
Yeah.
Right.
So
it can be all blank.
When you pull up, 4 bowls of Count Chocula, and there's no calories, there's no sugar.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
That's the diet food.
I still have all my carbs left for the day.
Are all those left up to the consumers? I mean, do those apps rely strictly on people to put those in that are using the service?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I didn't realize it was like a Wikipedia type
is Map
thing where
My
I could just
Fitness relying on nothing but people logging their?
You mean like the
meals.
databases and stuff? Yeah, it's whoever.
Or does I thought like Kroger entered their stuff?
No, it's
Backyard Burger
whoever
entered their stuff.
either scans like the barcode or enters it in.
I've entered a ton of things into it, so people probably use my stuff because I entered it all in there.
Well, I know your stuff be accurate.
Yeah, it's all accurate. And I go in and I change stuff. If I pull things up and I have like the label right there and somebody's put it in wrong, especially on Ultimate Foods, people jack those things up all the time. I go in there and fix them because it's not right. It's going to mess my macros up.
Well, tell us what the process is like, if you don't mind. Like, if you hire you as a coach, like, then what happens? Like,
what kind of coach? Like a competition coach or like a diet coach?
If I just want to lose weight.
She's my diet coach.
You have people that say, I just want to get rid of this fat belly.
So basically, you come to me. I'll do initial analysis on you, which I'll do a body fat test, 9-site skin fold caliper. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah.
So pinch 9 different sites on you. We come up with your body fat percentage, your lean body mass, and your pounds of fat. So from that, I'll take those numbers. I'll do a bunch of calculations, come up with your diet plan. And then every 4 to 6 weeks, you come back, you check in with me, we redo that analysis, and then make any necessary adjustments in your plan. Your initial plan, basically, I give you your macros and your calories, teach you how to count your macros, give you a supplement list, give you fluid recommendations, sodium recommendations, training and cardio recommendations, and I give you a sample menu. So your initial plan's pretty extensive, but I want to make sure that you're totally prepared for that first 4 to 6 weeks.
So for the first few weeks, you're actually telling them what to eat.
Right. Well, I don't tell them exactly what to eat because, like I said, not being a dietitian, I can't say you've got to eat this.
But I'm so clueless that I followed that to a T.
Right. I give you an example.
You give an example
of how you need
maybe
to.
Maybe like a week of.
Right.
And options. So you don't get tired of it. She has options and stuff of.
Yeah.
This with this, pick from this list and put, plug in here.
Like sample food list and things like that. And I help you plan like how to track your macros. Because a lot of people are clueless, and for people out there that don't know what macros are, it's your protein, carbs, and fat. So for 4 to 6 weeks, I'm helping you figure all that out. You come back to me, we redo your analysis, and then make any necessary adjustments. If you've made great progress, there's no point in changing your macros at that point. If you're not making progress, then we make any adjustments and go from there. And for the whole entire year, we keep going every 4 to 6 weeks like that.
Awesome.
Makes sense?
Yeah. It makes perfect sense. So do you have anybody that's like people that are like sport specific type stuff, like outside of bodybuilding? Like if a runner, for instance, was like, I need help, how am I going to eat between now and November when I run this 100-mile race, that kind of thing?
Yeah. So for runners, like say they're training for a marathon, half marathon, or whatever event. So usually during the week they're running like their short runs, and then they're doing their long run on the weekend. So usually we'll treat that day like a refeed. So I'll tell them how to refeed on that day, and then we just whatever event that they're doing, we plan accordingly for that event, and I'll tell them how to eat for that event.
What's a refeed?
So you usually double your carbs.
Are you is that like making up for what you lost during the long run?
Yeah, so basically you're re-glycing your muscles. We drop their fat, keep their protein about the same. And then each time they're doing their long run, we'll do a refeed.
I keep getting stuck on the refeed cycle. Yeah. And I just keep refeeding every meal. It's like another refeed. Mm-hmm. So I'm all glyced up.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so you should be doing really well in your runs.
Glyced.
You should be PR in every run.
I'm glycogenic. Mm-hmm. I am.
Yeah, so I have a girl in Alabama I work with, and she just did a Tough Mudder. So that's kind of how we did her Tough Mudder. I helped her. We refed every time she was training for the Tough Mudder.
Nice.
Yep.
So you work with people all over the world.
not all over the world.
They don't have to be.
No, yeah,
here. I mean,
they don't have to be. I have girls in Alabama. I've got a girl in Texas.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I was just messaging with a girl earlier in Georgia that I'm about to start working with. So yeah, I can coach people over the internet.
Is that a lot of like Skype, face-to-face type stuff?
Some, but it's mainly I do a lot just messaging or on the phone or through pictures, things like that.
Do you find those clients through your success in bodybuilding? Through the competitions?
Some word of mouth referrals. Some I've met on the road when we go to competitions, and then some just have found me through the website. Yeah, or social media. I'm not a huge social media person. You know, there was a time and a place when I would post all the time, but I do it mainly for business now. That seems to be the most successful thing. I'm not a selfie all the time person. I'm just not into that. I don't know. I'm fine if you are, but I'm just not.
So do you can edit this out if you want to, but do you get irritated with this? So there seems to be like this thing on Instagram where, you know, girls particularly will like, they're fit girls and they just take selfies every day and post them and people like it because they're hot, but then they turn out to be coaches. Does that irritate you? Like I hear a lot of people say like, you know, screw that girl. She's got 100,000 followers because she's half naked on Instagram half the time. Now everybody wants to hire her as a coach, and she doesn't know what the hell she's doing.
You don't have to edit it. No, I mean that irritates the hell out of me.
Yeah, no way I'm editing that. That's like, that's a legit question.
Those girls have no business being coaches because they're not qualified because they A, are hot, B, have a nice ass, and then C, have only competed in 1 or 2 competitions and are probably not even placed. But
are these girls just calling themselves coach because they have a nice ass, or will people come to them and
people will come to them?
No, I mean, I think they're
they look good.
All of a sudden, you get 100,000 followers on Instagram, and you're like, man, yeah, I could do this.
Some of them may legitimately kind of know what they're doing, but the majority of them have no clue, and they're wrecking girls.
Do you think that the appearance of a person is a telltale sign to how good they are at what they do at coaching? I like that answer.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. I feel the same way. And I wish I knew the coach's name that was discussing just that. And he wasn't just an older guy. He was out of his prime, and he was a little bit heavier, but he was one of the, better nutrition and weightlifting coaches, historically, that was more well known.
Yeah.
And his point was that, there's some really good coaches out there that are really good at the talent is being able to take in the information and pass it on to somebody else. The talent is not being born genetically superior to someone else.
Right.
And that you go after someone's gift of being able to transmit the information.
Yeah.
Not someone's gift of winning the lottery when they were born genetically.
Yeah.
Yeah, and being a coach is not easy.
No.
It is a very hard thing to do. And I think a lot of times what happens is good coaches end up putting their clients before themselves.
Yeah.
Because they care about them so much. So that definitely, I may not be able to run, a 3-hour marathon, but I know how to get you there, and I really, really want you to, and I might put all of my energy into that. You know what I mean? And so I can't run a 3-hour marathon, but I know how to get you there. You know what I mean? So.
Well, for example.
Not me in particular. I just was saying.
No, I understand.
Trying to give you an example.
For our show, we had 33, I may be wrong, 30-something competitors. And, I knew I was prepping for my show, but I put my prep on the back burner to I can't even remember now, like 13. I had 13 girls to get ready for our show. And I ended up losing like 10 pounds in the process because I put all of my prep on the background to get my girls ready for the show, which impeded my progress for my prep for my show, but I didn't care because at that point, my sole purpose was getting my girls ready for our show. So, I knew I was going to make up my ground after our show. But, as a coach, my number one priority was my girls.
Well, that was my next question. What is your number one priority? Would you rather coach than compete?
At this point, yeah.
Is coaching is that your bliss? Is that what you like to do more than anything else?
Yeah.
If you could do anything in the world.
Yeah, because I like helping people. You know, that's what I feel like I was called to do. When I was working as a physical therapist, I knew that I was put on this planet to help people. I just didn't know in what capacity. And the whole time I was working as a physical therapist, I didn't feel like I was doing what I was called to do. Yes, I loved helping people, and I knew that I was doing something of benefit. But I was like, yeah, there's something missing. So I know it killed my dad that he put me through school for 7 years and paid all this money. But I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not doing what I was supposed to do. I did it for 8.5 years, and I made great money, and I did a lot of good stuff, and I excelled at it. But I was like, it's time. And plus,
was there that one moment, that pivotal moment where you said, I'm done with this and I'm going to do that?
Pretty much. And I mean, I was getting sicker and sicker too. And I think part of it was the stress of my job. And I actually got out of it before I got extremely sick and had my surgery. It was 2013 when I got out of it and started working full time with Chris at the studio and started coaching. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of like, you know, I kind of hit this pinnacle at the job that I was at. And I was like, this one thing happened. I was like, you know what, it's time. So I just left and started working full time back home, and never regretted it.
Was there risk associated with that? Did you have a cushion, or did you just rely on faith?
I took a huge back step in salary. I mean, yeah, it was a huge risk, but to me, money's not everything, you know.
I like that. I like people taking risks and jumping out and just doing what they want to do.
I knew that it was going to come back around full force. So I didn't care.
Have you always had that kind of confidence? Or were there times where you stared at the ceiling at night and thought, I don't know if this was the best idea?
You know, there were times when we probably struggled, but I knew it was going to be okay. So, but yeah, you know, now I'm kind of delving out, you know, into, I'm seeing more clients with health issues like thyroid and diabetes and different health issues. And I'm doing more research and things along that line. So I'm helping people along those avenues, and I'm very passionate about that stuff. So, I'm reaching out in different areas, and that excites me. So yeah. This is, if you ask what my bliss is, that's kind of my bliss. So, yes, it's the coaching, but it's all of the stuff that I'm doing with my job.
Do you see a pattern? You think the world's getting more unhealthy all the time?
Oh, yeah.
I agree.
Definitely.
You see the health issues when people come in?
Yeah. And I'm encouraging a lot of my clients to go and get blood work done and go and get this checked out, because I'm seeing it in so many people. I mean, there's a lady that I sent to go get blood work the other day that's never she's 52 and she's never had her thyroid checked. I'm like, that's the doctor's fault.
Who do you send them to go get blood work? Do you recommend someone?
Right now, I'm sending a lot of my patients just out to the nurse practitioner at Laser Aesthetics in Bartlett because they can get in just like that. Mm-hmm. I haven't found a good internal medicine doctor. If y'all have anybody that you recommend.
Jeremy Draper. You know him?
I have sent several people to Jeremy Draper, too. I've sent several of my athletes to Jeremy Draper.
He's such a good guy.
Yeah. But this lady, she needed to get in ASAP, and he has a little bit of a wait time.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And he doesn't take insurance either, which is interesting. Mm-hmm. Like, you have to pay, you just pay cash, mm-hmm. which you don't find doctors like that very often.
I bet you're going to start finding more, though.
You think so?
It's harder to deal with insurance companies. It's really hard. I don't blame them. I don't blame them for getting out of it. They're trying to play that game with the insurance company, and insurance companies always win. So I see why they're going that way.
Yeah. Do they always win?
Yeah.
That would be so frustrating.
And then my doctor, Kevin Merigian, is amazing. But again, he doesn't take insurance, and it's like months of wait time to get into him. Huh. But he does full.
That must be a thing. I guess a lot of people are starting to go that way. which is interesting.
If you were only allowed to give one piece of advice to someone who is trying to get in the world of getting a little bit healthier, what would the one tip be? Stop eating this, drinking that, start drinking this or eating that. What's the most important thing that you can do to make a change?
Basically, just start eating healthy and exercising. Push away from the table. Start watching your portions. I know that's not one thing. You can't really put it in a nutshell. I
want you to give me the one thing that fixes everything.
There's not one thing.
I need to rephrase the question. I don't think you understood. I'm looking for that.
He's really going to try to wormhole you into.
There's no pill. There's no magic fix. But yeah, I mean, just.
Do the people that come to you get addicted to the way that they feel? People getting into the comp training.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, 2 or 3 weeks in, and eating healthy and exercising, they feel so much better. They don't want to stop.
Do you deal with a lot of addicts? People that are coming to you that have a history of addiction or some problem that they're running away from, that they jump into this and become successful? You see it a lot in running. That's why I was asking.
Maybe a few here and there. More so in like the bodybuilding world, because it's more of an addictive type sport. You see a lot of OCD, a lot of perfectionism.
I can totally see that. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm not a bodybuilder.
Mm-hmm.
Among other reasons.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
Like there's no, that would be so hard.
Yeah, not so much in my personal training, everyday clients, but yeah, definitely in the bodybuilding world. Lots of OCD and perfectionism.
I don't think people realize how hard it is to do everything that those people do. Mm-hmm. Those people, I didn't mean it that
Us
way.
People.
You know what I mean? Like I don't think they realize how much discipline that sport takes. Like
I do. I realize how much discipline it takes not to pull into the Flying J once a day.
Yeah, but this is on a whole even harder level than that.
I understand that. I'm saying that I'm not saying I've been around that. I'm saying that I totally see where it's not hard to see that people that do that are unbelievably dedicated to it, unbelievably disciplined. What does your falling off look like? I mean, when you're not doing well, what does that entail? I mean, if we're going to compare vats of ice cream, like what do you do?
I'm not the right person. You got to understand, I have a digestive disorder, so I can't fall off the bandwagon. If I do, I am doubled over in pain. You're going to laugh, but my idea of being bad is eating a sleeve of caramel rice cakes.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah, that's different than mine.
Yeah, I know. Quite a bit different.
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah. I know. That's insane. But seriously, for someone like me who can't eat, I have a whole list of things I can't eat. I can't eat spicy foods. I can't eat anything with a peel on it. I can't eat seeds. I can't eat almonds. I can't eat sweet potatoes. I can't eat this. I can't eat that. I can't eat ice cream. I can't, think of my world.
But there's got to be a whole mountain of other problems that make it difficult for you. I mean, my first thought was, well, that would be easy. If you had that problem, then you'd just eat healthy all the time.
Yeah.
But it's got to be a struggle all the time.
What?
To stay fit enough to be in a bodybuilding competition.
What, is that a struggle for me?
Yeah. Or does it just come naturally to you? I mean, does your life revolve around bodybuilding all the time, or are you on months at a time and off?
I mean, I'm always on a diet per se, but right now, yes, it's extreme because I'm 3 weeks out. So
I hear people talk about cutting, like they've got right before the competition they got to cut or whatever it is that they're doing. So it seems like that there's ebbs and flows as to how strict.
So it's like calorie restriction. Yeah, so I'm calorie restricted right now. So you just take your calories down a little bit. And then you do more cardio or whatever else. So it's all about a calorie deficit. And you usually create that calorie deficit by lowering your carbs or whatever. Different for different people. I'm not so much carb sensitive as I am fat sensitive. So I usually lower my fat. A lot of other people, they have to lower their carbs.
So would it be, I'm assuming it's unreasonable to think that for 365 days a year, you could stay looking the way that you look for a
It's unhealthy. You know, you see these bodies on stage at a competition and you think, wow, they are like the epitome of health. They look so good. And they are in the most unhealthy state.
Really? Wow.
Because nobody can maintain that look for longer than a couple of days.
Mm-hmm. And you know that window. You know when it's good to do that and when to jump out of it.
Those guys are like at 2% body fat. If they stay at that for longer than a day or two, they'll die.
Really?
I mean, you hear of bodybuilders dying after competitions from being so sucked down and dehydrated.
Wow.
Yeah. So they have to go back up within a couple of days.
What's the training period like? So, I mean, what's it look like? Like, when do you start really getting
that lean?
Honed, yeah. Yeah, I mean, does it?
So typically they won't get that lean until like a couple of days before the competition.
So
it's not so much the training as it is when they start to decrease water and sodium.
So where I guess is their norm? Where they ride around at, like, are they 7%, 10% body fat, and they can drop down?
They're usually around 4 or 5.
Okay.
And then they say, okay, it's time to mash the gas, and
they'll suck down that last week.
And does that involve not just calorie restriction, not eating at all?
They'll be low carb until probably like that Wednesday, and then they'll start to carb load. Everybody's a little bit different. So when you carb load, it fills out the muscles, and then they drop their water and sodium. And it kind of shrink wraps the skin around the muscles.
Wow.
And then when it's over, do they just go binge on pizza?
And you'll see some of them like blow up like 25 pounds.
You know what's crazy? Like what I find fascinating about it is when people are that lean, like they can go and have a pizza and like you can tell the difference. Like immediately.
You see like the vascularity come out.
You're like, whoa, shit! You just ate a cheeseburger. You know?
You mean just in their physique, like they swell up?
Change.
Yeah,
just an instant.
Yeah.
Wow.
You'll see, I mean, it's cool on stage because a lot of them will compete in like masters and then open bodybuilding, which are 2 different divisions, and they may be like 2 hours apart, and the same person will look completely different 2 hours later because all they've done is gone backstage and eaten a bunch of stuff, like a lot of sugar or whatever, and they look like completely different, totally different person.
No kidding.
Because their muscles have filled out more, they've gotten more vascular or whatever. And they may not have placed well in their Masters division, which went earlier, and they'll come back out in the Open, and they may have won the whole thing.
Wow, now tell me the difference in the Open and the...
So the Open is all ages, and there's different classes based on your body weight. And then the Masters division is an age, so the older people.
Now, tell me this. If somebody wanted to get into bodybuilding, into a competition, do they tell you, is there a cut where they say you just can't get up on the stage, or is everyone at an amateur level allowed to compete if they want to compete?
Everybody can compete on an amateur level, as long as you aren't pro.
Okay, so they don't ever say you don't
so
feel these. I could walk on there. I wasn't going to use me as an example, but thank you for for pointing me out as the extreme.
I like you wear that Speedo. I'd like to see you in a Speedo.
She's getting you back for stealing her thunder on the last one on the CrossFit level.
I deserve that. Yeah. I deserve that. So anyone can do that wants to do that. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yep. So you best be getting up on stage.
No way. There would be no way of that. I don't want to die. You said those people. I'm afraid that I would cut.
I don't think
you
would risk dying.
My caloric restriction, along with my discipline and my will to succeed, would be so great.
You like to refeed too much, so I don't think you'll die.
See, I honestly believe I'm going to die like 3 times a day. I think I'm so hungry I'm about to die. I got to get to Crystal. I would prepare something, but I got to get someplace that has fast food.
Just telling us about the refeed has just given us another thing to go eat. Like, oh, it's okay. I'm
refeed.
I'm refeeding.
High five, refeed.
So walking through your garage to go to your gym, there's all these trophies and stuff. So what kind of titles? What are you most proud of? Because I know you've won a lot.
So my most proud moment was winning the overall at Southern Classic 7.5 months after my surgery, my abdominal surgery. And then, of course, I placed third 2 years in a row at North Americans, which is the largest national show. And yeah, so those two I would probably say are my.
So what's is there a goal? Like, would you like to go back to that and win it at some point?
My goal is to turn pro.
Okay.
That's what I've been going for 8 years.
What does that mean?
What does that entail?
So when I turn pro, so everybody competes in the National Physique Committee. That's the organization that we support. And that's what I've been competing in for 8 years. And it's an amateur organization. So when you compete nationally and you place first, then you turn pro. When I turn pro, you transition to the IFBB, which is the pro league, and then I could actually compete for money.
Ah.
So in the amateur league, you don't win money. You just win a trophy, which is nice.
Yeah.
But we kind of like to do this for a reason. And then when you turn pro, then you can get sponsored, and I could promote my business more and all that kind of stuff.
Is Chris
cool.
pro?
No, he actually did win Junior Nationals 1 year. But when you win Junior Nationals as a bodybuilder, you do not get your pro card. When you win any junior show as a bodybuilder, you don't turn pro. Poor bodybuilders.
When you say you don't, you mean they
don't award pro cards to the bodybuilders at the junior. So there's Junior USAs and Junior Nationals. Bodybuilders are allowed to compete, but it's just kind of good exposure. They won't award pro cards to the bodybuilders at those shows. They award pro cards to everybody else, all the other divisions, but not bodybuilders. So he was planning to compete at a later show that year, but he injured his knee and ended up having to have knee surgery. So he was out for the year. And then after that knee surgery, he just never really came back full force.
So did y'all meet through competition?
Interesting story. So I was married before and got a divorce in 2009. It was final in June of 2009. And I'd always wanted to compete. After my divorce, I was like, I got to put this negative energy into something. So I started asking around at the gym I was training at down in Olive Branch who the best competition trainer was, and everybody kept saying Chris Caudy. So I called Chris Caudy up, started training with him, did my first competition in August of 2009. That's how we met.
Awesome.
Wow.
And we started dating 2 years later.
And so he just stays ripped up like a raging machine just for the sake of it.
Yep. He hopes to compete again one day.
That's the reason I keep this going.
Yeah.
Really, it's for Amanda, but no competition in the future.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you can't win junior nationals and get a pro. They don't give you a pro card.
I know, right?
I mean, you may as well just hang it up right now.
That damn pro card. All right, do we need to talk about your 100-mile training? How's that going?
It's going. It's going good. It's been interesting because I've changed my schedule, so my life is kind of turning in like a 180-degree.
How is that going? You got a full-time job.
You
got a full-time gig now,
Yep.
And so everything has changed.
Everything is changing.
You're still making the podcast every week, which I think is admirable.
Yes,
I know
sir.
it's got to be hard.
It is. It's tough, but I'm making it work. And, it's just different. It's different when you go from being able to do whatever you want to or being able to train whenever you can. If I wanted to sleep until 8:30, if I happen to sleep till 8:30, get up, I can train at noon. You know what I mean? If I had to be at the gym at 9 or whatever, you know what I mean? Your schedule is just different now. And so I literally have to get up and go to the gym at 5:30. If I don't, it's likely not going to get done because I hate training in the evening time.
Me too.
Especially after working all day long, and then I don't get home until 6:30 or 6. And when at that time, I just want to. I don't want to mess with running or any of that stuff. So for me, I'm a morning person. My training has to happen in the morning time. I'm working on like maybe starting midday because we have showers at work. So it's technically possible that I could go on a break and like go run and then come back, take a shower or whatever. But yeah, it's good. I'm making it happen. So I'm doing well. I'm not falling off the wagon. I mean, I had a nice squat PR Tuesday.
I
saw
too.
that.
Nice job.
So
Yeah.
nice job. Yeah. So I'm super happy about that and just going to keep trucking along.
All right, well, good deal.
When's your race?
November 11th.
Yeah, he's doing the 100-miler and we're doing the 50-miler.
Sweet.
Anything else? We've hit the hour.
Well, plug something. Plug CindyCaudy.com.
Yep.
CindyCaudy.com is CindyCaudy.com. And go get some jewelry. That's a good gift. That is a good gift. And that's an interesting gift. That would be something that would be like really thoughtful.
She's got workout clothes for girls too. It's really pretty tank tops and sports bras and stuff.
Get a bracelet, like a charm bracelet type thing.
It's got dumbbells on it.
Yeah. That would mean something to someone who exercises, especially for someone who doesn't exercise to get that. That would be like, you're really thoughtful.
You need to go exercise.
I'm going to take this little charm dumbbell and break it over your
before we
head.
end that I appreciate all your help that you've done with me, and I've been trying to stay on board with it. And everybody at work's noticed. Even when I forget about it or don't think about it, I'll walk in and they're just like, "Whoa!" Even in scrubs, they're like, "Oh, you've lost more weight, or you're just going to waste away." And just me.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody. I wouldn't.
You don't get that compliment.
No, I wouldn't say you're wasting away.
They say
Like,
I'm getting
you're
like really
wasting away.
thin. I don't see that, but anyway, they see me carry my big lunchbox in with all my meals, and we share a break room with Lab. And this lady hounded me to death, and I had to sit down with her and show her kind of what I was doing. And then she started bringing her own food and trying to like follow my macros. I told her you can't follow my macros because it's something, So bless her heart, she still comes in with her salads and she's eating a lot of like the rice and grilled chicken, and she just shows me all the time what she's got and how proud she is. And
people are hungry for the knowledge,
it's
man.
just so cool
to
kind of help people. Now that I figure out how to calculate my macros, I'm helping Stacy, because she's coming to you and she doesn't understand it yet. So I'm like, well, you can replace this with this if you weigh this much out, and it's just nice. And I had a student last month that he kind of just watched me through the month. I exercise one morning and run, and then I pull my meals out, and I have a scale at work that I weigh stuff on it, and he just watched. And by the end of the month, he signed up for the running stuff, like running the Memphis Runners Club thing. He's going to start doing that. He's going to run the half marathon at St. Jude, and he was he was bringing his own lunch and had like healthy meals and stuff. So it's really nice to see that rub off on other people.
Good.
But just to backtrack and go on record, I wasn't calling you fat. What I was trying to say was, when I think of wasting away, I think of like Urkel, and I didn't. I mean, Urkel doesn't have the muscle that you have.
I think that the layman, a compliment.
Apparently, I was walking around work going,
No, I think that when someone is outside of a gym is paying someone a compliment, they say, "Wow, you're getting really skinny," or "You're wasting away."
They don't know the
because
they don't. I'm not getting skinny.
They don't know how nice it is to hear like, "Whoa, you're raging jacked."
Yeah,
like,
you're getting
swole.
lean.
Like you're looking
Nice.
awesome.
Yeah.
You don't want to say. They wouldn't want to say that to a girl, and what it means is you're looking right. You're looking good. You're far
Right
from
and tight.
wasting away. Right and tight.
Yep.
There we go. All right. LHRL number 54 is in the books. Thank you, Cindy.
Yeah,
Very
thank you.
nice of you
Thank
to
you
come.
for
and
Thank
do
you
the
for
show.
having me. I've enjoyed it. Thank you.